gentlemen, welcome back to episode 4 of the Four Quarters of a Whole Idiot podcast. It's your boy, Noah Druin, joined by ya other boys.
Yeah,
Austin.
other boys.
Ya boys. Austin Specht, say hello.
Hello, gang, skeet.
Austin Corey,
Yo.
who's recovered from his awful laryngitis from last week.
My laryngitis.
And then your boy, Brett Shevlin, as
What's
always.
up?
So Austin, me boy, has to go to work. So this is going to be a shorter-ish episode. But we got a lot of action-packed stuff to talk about. First, before we get into that, you can follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. And also check out our merch room for merchandise. Use the code 4QWI for 10% off. Link for that stuff is on all of our social media and whatnot. And before we also get into this episode, little teaser for next week. We're going to be doing a week or mid-season week 9 prediction video. We're going to bring all of our hot takes on who we think is going to win MVP, who's going to win Rookie of the Year, who's going to win the Super Bowl,
Yes,
etc.
sir.
We're getting super spicy. We're probably going to be severely wrong on all of those things. Maybe not MVP. I think there's a very clear front runner. But that's for next week. We're gonna start off this week with our power rankings. Actually, we've differed a pretty fair amount through the last 3 episodes. Last week we did 3 on the same. Who did that?
Fuck was
Who
that?
did that?
That was not me.
What?
I'm calling the cops. That was fucking.
What happened?
I didn't even move. That wasn't me, dude.
Jesus.
That wasn't me.
Headphone users over here.
Yeah, it was probably Austin. He ruins everything.
I didn't hear anything. I
Speaking
moved
of
a little bit.
ruining
Oh,
things,
if you didn't hear it, then it was you.
yeah, so that was certainly Austin. Austin, stop moving. So,
I can move my chair real quick though.
last
Stop
week,
breathing.
yeah, stop breathing. Actually, why don't you just leave the call?
Damn, y'all want to just make it 3 quarters then? Bye.
Yeah, we've been talking about that, but it's all right. Infighting during the podcast is okay, and I'm sure we're gonna fight Austin a little bit more when we get into our power rankings.
Always
So
do.
we disagreed up until last week, where we had all the same teams, just kind of jumbled around a little bit. Except we did all agree that the Patriots were number 1. But I think after last week, we might be disagreeing a little bit again. So Austin, why don't you get us going with your you were teasing us about having some hot takes in your power rankings, so
He puts
I'm eager.
Yeah, as a matter of fact. So, obviously,
Stop moving. You're
Good
making
God.
sounds. Stop it.
I'm not
He's
even moving.
licking
literally
his
still-
microphone.
I'm still at the rock.
Then stop breathing so hard.
We need a headphone users beware
Wish I could hear
warning.
myself. Maybe I should.
Austin, I just want to warn you.
rejoin.
I just want to warn you first. If you put the 49ers in the 1 spot, I'm leaving the chat and then I'm running to your house to slap the shit out of you.
They're not number 1.
Let's hear it, Austin.
Whew.
And number 1 is still the Patriots.
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna change. But number 2 is the 49ers. And then I got the Saints at number 3. I have the Packers at number 4, and then I have the Minnesota Vikings coming in at my number 5.
Okay.
Wait, who is your number 4?
Packers.
Okay.
Okay, Austin. I don't want to get too off track, but I want you to give me like a holistic rubric and reason as to why you think the 49ers are better than the Saints.
Because they've yet to lose a game. Duh.
Yeah, they had a real tough matchup, man. They slogged it out in the rain against the second worst team in the league.
Hey man, the rain made it hard. Did you see George Kittle try and rush for a touchdown? He slipped right on his
Rain
nose.
made it hard.
I guess it doesn't. I mean, I know they're from California. So
Okay,
they're not
hold
used
on.
to the
Okay,
rain.
let me just read. This is the Saints schedule. They're 6-1. Texans, Rams, Seahawks, Cowboys, Bucks, Jags, and Bears. That's a pretty tough schedule.
They've
I've
They're
also done that
6-1.
with like Teddy Bridgewater since week 2.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking why you have them at not number 2.
Numbers don't lie, man.
Okay, that
Okay.
doesn't even make sense. That literally. Brett, what
Last
you got?
Last week, the Saints did not have Drew Brees. They did not have Alvin Kamara, and they did not have Jared Cook. And they played the Chicago Bears defense, which is easily top 5 in the league.
Yep.
And they went on and beat them by a wide margin.
Yep.
I think
That
if
did
you
happen.
don't, I think if you don't have them at least number 2, I think you're severely wrong, sir. So I'll just go through mine. Patriots number 1, obviously. That defense is just amazing. Saints at number 2. I do have the 49ers at 3. And that's just because I've been very impressed at what Jimmy Garoppolo has been doing. He hasn't really had to do a whole lot. The defense has been, putting in work, but he's not turning the ball over nearly as much as he has in the past. So I'll give him credit for that. And I have the Packers at number 4. We'll see if that stays constant going into this Sunday night when they play the Chiefs. Not sure if Mahomes is going to be playing or not. I think he's listed as doubtful right now, but they haven't officially ruled him out. And then
They just don't want to do it. They're gonna do it eventually.
Dude, they're gonna RG3 his ass. If he plays, my God, he's gonna be hurt for like the rest of his life.
And then my number 5 team is actually the Indianapolis Colts. Not sure if any of you guys heard that.
I did hear that.
Oh, I
The
heard
Colts.
it, and I just
Austin's
don't know
just
what
shifting.
to say.
Sorry, it keeps making so much noise. The
Interesting.
last movement right now.
So
I
Indianapolis
trademarked.
Colts at number 5. I'm a little surprised about that. Can you give your rationale for that?
Yeah. The last 2 weeks, they've really impressed me. They went on the road in Kansas City and beat the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, and their defense is really, really good. I think their defense is capable of leading the Colts to an AFC Championship game. And I know that's a
Wow.
hot take.
Yeah, Brett said that to me in the past, and I.
Like, I'm probably the most high on the Colts out of everyone here, but
Clearly.
and
But
then
wouldn't that'd be spicy though? Wouldn't that be spicy to play Jacoby Brissett in the AFC Championship game and then go to the I almost said the World Series like a ton, and then go to the Super Bowl and play Jimmy G? That's like, dude, that's
Oh
like a,
my god.
That'd
that's
be-
like a
that'd be-
yeah, I was
that'd be
gonna say that's
kinda
like a boner, dude. That's literally I'm getting hard.
I am on the Jacoby Brissett train.
Now-
He's been playing pretty well this season.
I'm curious though about something. Are you done, Brett? I don't want to cut you off.
well, yeah, and then last week, we all, the 4 of us, picked the Texans to
Yep.
beat the Colts, and the Colts did indeed pull that one out by the skin of their teeth, but a win is a win. And yeah, I mean, Jacoby Brissett is really, like, even with T.Y. Hilton being out the past few weeks, he's still, he's not turning the ball over. He's been very smart with his throws. Marlon Mack is, Marlon Mack is really doing what he has to do in order to take the pressure off of Brissett, because, and their defense is, they held the Texans to 23 points after Deshaun Watson the previous 2 weeks threw for like 400 yards. So,
I'm not with you, but like I see what you mean. I mean, 2 impressive wins back to back for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone said this team, but I have a team in my power rankings that I don't think you guys have in there. I mean, maybe Noah does after I go. So obviously, 1 is the Patriots, 2 is the New Orleans Saints, 3 is the San Francisco 49ers, and 4, I don't think I've heard anyone say it.
I know what's coming.
The Baltimore Ravens just whooped the friggin' Seahawks. Like, how do we?
Yeah, that's
How
right.
do? Oh my God! How do you not put
I'll
them in
respond.
there? That was such a. And then 5 could go either way. I have Green Bay, but it could be sad. I'm not buying the Buffalo Bills as much as everyone else, but I kind of am on the Minnesota Viking train with Austin. They could be like the 6, or 7, and then Seattle's my like 6 or 7 too.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Baltimore Ravens, man, they look scary with Marcus Peters out there. I
Yeah.
didn't think he. I didn't think he was
agree
gonna
with
play,
you.
and he came up with a pick 6.
Yeah, and
That's a scary.
Specs, I gotta say, you and I almost completely aligned there. I have the Patriots at number 1, the Saints at number 2, 49ers at 3. I have the Packers at 4, and the Ravens at 5.
Yeah, that's
Um,
I'm just not buying into that. I mean, I get Aaron Rodgers had like a career game last week, but like I ain't buying into the. It's not like if he torched like the Patriots,
yeah.
or if he torched like you know the I don't know what's another good defense, the Bears or something like that, then I'd be like, like that's some shit. But like was it the Oakland Raiders?
Yeah.
Like I don't want that ain't it. Like that ain't it, Chief.
Yeah. I guess it's interesting. We all actually, after that loss, took Seattle out of our top 5 entirely, and I've had them as high as number 3.
I did too. I thought they were gonna torch Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I was incorrect.
We kind of saw what happens when Russell Wilson doesn't play like an MVP. Like he had a hard time that game.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his 20 for 41, 241 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. You know, I mean, Lamar Jackson had an even worse game on the other side. He did almost nothing on the passing department. He basically played like a running back, and the defense did the rest.
For someone who gets pissed when people call him a running back, he sure likes running.
14 carries for over 100 yards.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
He's like 7th in the league in like rushing yards. Like shut the fuck up, you running back. He only threw 9 times. Oh my god.
Hey man, but if you can do it, why not?
But hold on. How many rushing attempts did you have that in front of you, Noah?
14.
14. You know how many Mark Ingram, the running back, had?
How many?
12.
Oh. Wow.
Well, there it is, folks.
So bad, dude.
Hey, I mean, whatever. You got to give it to him. He is like the premier dual threat in the league now. It only took him like 8 games this season to assert that, but
he is. I remember telling Brett. Me and Brett were at the movies watching. I don't know. I think it was Infinity War when it came out, and Lamar Jackson got drafted with like the last pick of the whole first round. And I said, "You can't play in the NFL like the way he plays in college."
And
I'm very wrong.
Yeah.
Winning games.
Yeah, and speaking of winning games, we had a game last night, Thursday Night Football, Redskins at Vikings. So the Vikings take a gritty 19-9 win against
absolutely slogged it out against the second worst team in the league. You know who did that? You know who just did that like last week? The 49ers just did that last week.
Oh. So what you're saying is the Redskins could be 3-5 right now.
Yes.
If the cards fell a little differently. Do you have any big takeaways from this game, fellas?
AP is looking good.
Yeah.
The past couple of weeks, as a matter of fact, AP has actually been looking pretty solid.
Dalvin Cook is still
Dalvin Cook's scary.
Good. Yeah. 23 carries for almost 2 yards under 100, 98 yards, and then 1 touchdown.
And then we have Alexander Madison, who I've been high on. You guys know that. 13 carries for 61 yards. He was averaging 4.7 yards per carry. If anything happens to Cook, like Madison is going to step right in and do exactly what he's doing. He's.
And I feel like it's been like that. I don't know what it is about that team, but I feel like it's been like that every year because he's gotten hurt,
Yeah.
Yeah. They're back.
Remember when Latavius Murray had to step in and he did just dandy.
Yeah.
But one takeaway too is that Stephon Diggs connection is back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep, that I'm fully aware of.
I feel it now.
Of course, Adam.
I mean,
yeah,
I traded him to Brett after week 5. I had enough. And then as soon as I do that, I don't even want to say it. You know what he's been doing.
7 targets, 7 catches for 143 yards left.
He hasn't had a game under 143 yards in 3 weeks.
Since you traded him.
Yep, since I traded him.
maybe you were just what needed to happen for
And,
him.
I mean,
again,
either way,
like I'm not playing for Noah.
either way, that offense is looking dynamic, and that was even without Thielen last night. Like they have a lot of weapons on that team.
Yeah, they really do.
Underrated. I would not be surprised if the Vikings crack my top 5 going into week 9 or 10. I think they're being slept on a little bit.
If they I forget who they have next week. If they win, if they beat the Chiefs on Sunday, November 3rd, then
That's
man.
gonna be
If the Chiefs
a
lose-
game. That's gonna be
If
a
the
very
Chiefs
gonna be
lose
fun
back
game.
by
that game,
then?
that's gonna be rough. I
I'm
already
go-
have them like slipping out of the top 10 of my power rankings, but like if the Chiefs lose this game against the Vikings, my God, and they might torch the Eagles. I think he can torch a worse defense in the Chiefs. Kirk
You know,
Cousins, that is.
the Chiefs got Packers and Vikings back to back. Those are some big games. I don't think they're gonna have Mahomes ready for Sunday night, but I think they're gonna try and have him ready for the Vikings.
I think they're gonna try to push him out there. I don't know why. I just have that feeling that they're gonna try to be like, "Hey,
I think
go play."
Andy Reid's smarter than that. At least I hope he is.
Hope so. Yeah.
I don't know.
You have a guy
Yeah, I
who's
was gonna
literally going
say,
to carry your franchise for the next decade or so. I'd hope you wouldn't ruin him.
They did that. That's what I said. They did that to RG3.
RG3.
They're gonna RG3 his ass.
And now RG3 sitting behind Lamar Jackson over in Baltimore.
At least he's still in
Is
the
that where he
league.
is? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's played a few snaps this season. And yeah, so moving on to our next bit of NFL news, we have a little bit of a trade roundup. We've had a few pretty big moves in the past week since we last talked. We have Mohamed Sanu from the Falcons moving over to the Patriots for a second round pick. Any thoughts on what that means for the Patriots?
Well, I mean, Tom Brady hates throwing to anyone under the age of like 30. So I think this is good. He's always wanted that veteran receiver. I'm not saying Mohamed Sanu is some like god, but we've all seen what he can do because Edelman's obviously going to be number one. But we've like every team he goes to, he's always like consistently consistent. I don't know where I was going with that, but remember when he was on the Bengals behind
Yep.
that's when he started. That's when we first started noticing him. Good, and now he went to the Falcons. Good, but like I don't know. I think it'll be great. I think he'll get a surprising amount of catches.
Yeah, I mean, playing out of the slot like he does, he's going to see so much volume, I think. And now that Josh Gordon's out for the season, I think Sanu came at the perfect time. I think they knew Gordon was hitting the IR. Otherwise, I don't think that move would have happened.
Oh
But
yeah, they definitely knew.
huge move for the Patriots. I don't know if Sanu is worth a second round pick, but
How long's the contract,
I think he's just for the rest of the season.
No, it's next year too. For
Next year too?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Sanders is the one. Sanders is up.
yeah.
At the end of this.
Well,
year.
speaking of Sanders, Emmanuel Sanders from the Broncos has moved over to the San Francisco 49ers for a third and
huge.
fourth round pick in 2020. Absolute stud goes over to the 49ers, who are already, the top three of all of our power rankings. What does that mean for the 49ers?
Giving Jimmy G way more weapons.
One
Just what
person
he'll
is
be able
way
to
more
do with it.
weapons.
Well, you got to think though, like who I don't even know, like who's his number one receiver? Not George Kittle. Who's his number one like wide receiver?
Isn't it Marcus Goodwin?
Marquise Goodwin, yeah.
I guess so.
Wow, would you?
Yeah, but like
But
you
you're
got the backfield, which is fire.
Yeah, all three of those. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. All three of those dudes can catch. Like all three of those dudes are actually pretty sauce. I've been a big Tevin Coleman guy because he got a lot of playing time because Devontae Freeman doesn't even know how to spell the word healthy, let alone be healthy.
I mean, he hasn't faced an injury this season yet.
Oh, you just wait. He'll get concussed for the 57th time.
You didn't know Freeman was born with glass bones and paper skin.
Yeah, every night I break my arms, I break my legs. But I don't know. I think that's big. Brett, what do you think, Brett? You've been quiet.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders is like you could pretty much line him up anywhere and he'll produce. Like if line him up on the outside, line him up in the slot, he could pretty much do anything. The biggest concern with him is also staying healthy. Like he gets banged up a lot, and a third and fourth round pick doesn't seem like a lot, but if he does leave at the end of the year, like I don't know if that's a great return on the investment, especially if like the 49ers have to like actually do something in the playoffs. And I'm not sure if they're like ready yet. Like most of these guys have never they're all like really young, especially on the defense. Like their linebackers, their front seven, like they're very young. They've had all these like top, top 10 picks in the past couple years of the draft. It'll be interesting to see how they do in like a playoff setting, if they
Yeah.
have to go on the road or whatnot. I mean, as of right now, they'll get home field advantage, but once they start getting into these division games, like they haven't played Seattle yet, they haven't played the Rams yet. I would keep my eye on the 49ers because we all have them in the top 5 of our power rankings. Just because, I've liked what I've seen so far, but I don't know. I think once they start playing like actual teams, it'll be interesting to see how like
Mhm.
Garoppolo handles that type of pressure.
Yeah, I
Once
mean,
the, once the high school teams leave,
they have
and the real NFL.
they have a tough schedule to end the season. Sorry to cut you off, Spect.
That's right.
Um,
I don't know, man. That's
I mean, they have Packers, Ravens, and Saints in a row.
and to Brett's point about the 3rd round pick thing, like, oh, it doesn't seem like a lot. Some top tier, like it's not like every dude in the 1st round isn't gonna be like a god. Like T.Y. Hilton, 3rd round draft pick. Russell Wilson, 3rd round draft pick. Alvin Kamara, 3rd round draft pick. All those are some of the best dudes in the NFL right now.
Yep.
And it's just
That's
like,
a good point.
I don't know, for 1 year, we just gave Michael Bennett away. Oh, nice little segue. Michael Bennett away for a seventh round pick. And I would say, I'd venture a guess, he's a little better than a 7th round pick.
Yeah.
I would agree,
So, yeah, Michael Bennett to the Dallas Cowboys for a 7th round pick. I think the Patriots just wanted to get rid of him. I think only played like 3 or 4 games this season. So I don't think it's much of a hit on the Patriots. But what does that mean for the Dallas Cowboys, who are fighting right now for the division lead and also a wild card spot if they do not win the division?
Wild card spurt.
White spurt.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think that's big because I think when he does play, he's good. And why he was only playing like 14 snaps a game the first few games of the year is beyond me. But I think, especially on this defense, where they're like, I feel like the Cowboys are only like 1 to 2 pieces away from really being like a solid defense. I think that really helps. And I think it will help because I think they're going to play him like ASAP. I don't think they're going to do this Patriots
You
bullshit.
need to play him ASAP.
Yeah, I know. They don't have time. Just yeah. I don't know. I think that's a good pickup. I think that's great. I do think underpaid for sure. So I think they got a steal. I know he's like 30, 34 or something like that. But I don't know. I think that's great. Fantastic.
Oh,
Great content.
I thought there was some lag from your end. I thought you were still going.
Yeah,
That
me
is-
too.
My apologies, sir.
I was done speaking.
Yeah, so the trade deadline, what day is that? That's coming up pretty soon.
The 29th or something like that.
Yeah, so we're recording on the day of October 25th, and I have a feeling it looks like all trading ends at 4 o'clock on October 29th. Yep. So
There's gonna be some. I feel like there's gonna be some big moves that day, like solid moves. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I hope
Oh,
Cam.
there have to be.
I know Brett. That was like Brett's thing last year. Is Cam Newton done? I hope so. I don't know why, but I hope so.
Yeah,
it's
if
gonna be
Kyle,
an interesting time.
if Kyle Allen, if he wins this game, this week, I mean, like that's a big game. Like with Carolina, right now they're 4-0 without him, and they were 0-2 with him. So, I mean,
0-2
like
with him, and he looked horrible. Like he looked really bad.
he did.
But
And I don't know what Cam Newton's salary is, but like Kyle Allen, I mean, he's on his rookie contract. So if you could get like a first round pick for Cam, like I think I would do that if I was the Panthers.
I'm with that. I am with that. If they can beat the 49ers, my God, that by Cam. Cam couldn't even beat the Bucks.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It looks like that Cam Newton's salary is $16.7 million a year.
Do you know how many years he has left though?
It does
That I
not
do not
say.
know.
Hold on.
That's all right. Well, I would imagine it's more than just this one.
It was a contract extension in 2015 for 5 years, a total of 103.8 million.
So
So
He'd
this
be
is
a-
next
he'd be an
year.
unrestricted free agent at 2021.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of teams could use a quarterback like him, like the LA Rams. They could use him. I know Jared Goff is still young, but he sucks. And if they want to,
I think you're being a little. I've noticed a few. I don't know if it's been all three of you, but we've been a little unfair to Jared Goff. I said it last week. I've been trying to defend the guy. He's not as. I don't think he's as bad as you're painting him out to be.
Well,
agree
I
with you,
think-
Noah.
I think Sean McVay deserves most of the credit for what he's done because put Jared Goff in a different system, and I don't think he puts up the numbers that he puts up in LA.
I mean, it's fair. You know, he does have so much around him on that team. You know, that's a good point too.
I'll go be the quarterback. I might win a game.
Good luck.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, so there's that roundup. I guess the one last thing we can do before we move into fantasy is anybody have a sneaky game to look out for this
Oh,
upcoming
shit.
week?
I always have a sneaky game.
Because I think we neglected to mention that last week, but I have one myself. So,
Oh baby, let's hear it.
Spect, would you like to hear yours? Or
yeah,
share
sure.
yours.
Oh, I'll go. I think my sneaky game of the week. You ready for this?
Yes.
I'm not because I gotta find it. Hold on. I think my sneaky game of the week it is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Chicago Bears.
Ah,
Why? I hear you asking.
Why?
why?
Thank you, fellas.
Sure,
Why?
Master
I-
Elder.
We got Phillip Rivers and an underperforming offense with Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams going up against a solid defense with a backup quarterback who's coming off a loss, a pretty big loss that they probably should have won because, as Brett said earlier, they had 1 million people out. I don't know. I'm just looking for this. I don't know. I just feel like this one's going to be spicy. I don't really. Besides like a good offense going up against a good defense, and actually the Chargers have a good offense too. I mean defense. I don't know. It just looks like a spicy game. 1 o'clock, nice and early, so it's not going to take up too much of your day.
Yeah, that's an important game for both teams. Even more specifically the Chargers, because if
They're
they
gonna
don't
fall way
start
behind.
turning around, they're not making that wild card spot. It's just not going to happen. So this is a big game for them.
And then even the Bears would fall.
To
the
3 and
Ba-
4. I
Yeah,
think?
3 and 4, and that would easily put them at the bottom because I would imagine the Detroit Lions are going to win the Giants game this week.
One
I'd
could
hope so.
assume.
But yeah, I don't know.
One could
That's
assume.
that's an interesting division because 1 point separates the Packers from being 6-1 or being 5-2.
Yeah.
Is that Lions, man? Porked. They got porked.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share my sneaky game, which is actually different. I was expecting the same one, but I have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Buffalo Bills this week as my sneaky game. We all know Buffalo's not winning the AFC East. Eagles, they could still win their division. They're only a game behind the Cowboys. This is a big game for both teams. For Buffalo, I've been saying it. We've all been saying it. They're 5-1. They can make the wild card if they keep up this pace. This is just another big game that they need to win at home. But the Eagles, they need to start turning it on if they're going to make a wild card. I can't say that word. You know what I'm trying to say. If they're trying to make the playoffs in any capacity, I'll just say that they need to win this game and continue building some momentum because they've been stumbling. I think they're on like a 2 or 3 game losing streak. Bills are 5-1. Everybody's sleeping on them still. You know, it's a big game for both teams. I don't know who I got winning that one, but probably the Bills.
They barely beat the Dolphins.
Yeah,
last
but-
week. I just hate the Bills. I just hate Josh Allen, and I think I've displayed that.
Yes,
on
you
the
made that
show in
abundantly
past.
clear. Anybody else got a sneaky game?
Mine was actually Eagles Bills as well.
Okay.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head there. With this kind of being a must. I wouldn't say it's a must win for the Bills, but it's definitely a must win for the Eagles.
Yep.
Like they already have 4 losses, and it's only week 7. and they still have to play the Patriots. They still have to play the Cowboys again. So yeah, if they want any chance, they definitely need to win this week. And what I've seen from Carson Wentz has not been good. So
Nope.
Oh, it has not.
Then
And
that's why.
it doesn't
That's why I
help with
think
the
they're gonna
defense
lose.
that they're playing. Yeah.
Yep. Austin, you got anything for us?
We briefly touched on a little bit earlier, but the Niners in the Panthers game, I think that's a game to watch because the Niners are still undefeated, and the Panthers with Allen's 4-0. You know, so one of the teams is gonna have to lose, and I think it's just gonna be an all-out battle.
Yeah.
And I think it's just gonna be. I don't know how sneaky it is, but I just think in general it's gonna be a real good one to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good game
I really want to see what McCaffrey can do against this
that
defense.
defense.
Yeah.
Yep. It's his biggest test all year. It's the biggest test he's gonna have all year probably. So.
And
We'll have to see.
if you're the defensive coordinator on the 49ers side, you really only have one job, and that's to contain McCaffrey.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. Because if he gets loose at all in this game, your hopes of winning are greatly diminished.
Yep.
Like, force Kyle Allen to throw the ball. That's what I want them to do.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Any final thoughts about the NFL before we move on to fantasy, boys?
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's just like same shit, different toilet. It feels like, you know, Patriots are winning. Dude,
Different
what an
soil.
analogy.
dude, it is right. Like Patriots are winning. They're probably gonna beat the Browns. They're just gonna keep on rolling. But then they got that hard schedule, man. I don't know. I don't think. I just wanted, because we live in New England, so I just want to touch on the Patriots as a team for a moment. I could see them losing, not every, but a good chunk of these games. I feel like the Ravens might possibly sort of have a chance, a bigger chance than the teams in the.
I mean, they're traveling to Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's Sunday Night Football. That's going to be quite the spectacle.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
I just think, I mean, I know that they haven't really struggled with mobile quarterbacks in the past. But mobile quarterbacks who can run and throw, which Lamar Jackson has shown, they give him trouble. They always had trouble with Cam Newton whenever they had to go play Cam. We lost that big game with the pass interference in the end zone. Then they got the bye week. But then the Eagles, did the Eagles turn it on? The Dallas Cowboys, the Houston Texans, the Chiefs. Fuck the Bengals, but that's not a problem. Like, I don't. And then the Buffalo Bills gave them trouble, and they're playing. That's like the rest of their schedule. That's literally going all the way up to week 16. I don't know. I feel like they could lose. I'm not going to say all of them, but I feel like, the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the Baltimore Ravens, the Texans. I feel like they could all steal games from.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
they have a lot of tough road games.
Yeah, like their schedule down the stretch is tough, but I mean, their defense, like nobody thought they would be this good. And like you said, like with the mobile quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and, Patrick Mahomes can run when he wants to. Like the way Jamie Collins has like emerged this season after like really like shitting the bed with Cleveland, just like Jamie Collins and a QB spy chasing the quarterbacks, and like what Gilmore and all them have been able to do. Like, Darnold said it perfectly last week that he was seeing ghosts, like literally seeing ghosts.
But then, all right, just to be fair, because I say this a lot about the 49ers, because I'm the resident 49ers hater. Who have the Patriots played?
It doesn't matter.
No,
I'm completely 100% sold.
The Miami Dolphins, the Steelers, the Jets, the Bills, which
But
they struggled against the Bills.
That was the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger, though.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, Big Ben's nothing anymore.
Whoa, coming from you, I'm surprised.
Big Ben is nothing anymore. I wouldn't be shocked if he retires after the season. I feel like he hasn't wanted to play in years. And then after the Bills, they got the Redskins, the Redskins that really gave that 49ers team a tough matchup last week. And then they have the New York Giants, which they struggled against in the first half. And then the Jets again. I don't know. I just feel like that's absolute Hash brown Garbo. Hash brown Garbo. That's a horrible.
Did you hear that, Austin?
Yeah,
Hash
I think
brown
so.
Garbo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Austin,
you know, when
listen
you
up,
put
write
it that
down.
way, that is just a laughable schedule. So
Put us out there in the cornerbacks, and I might pick fucking Sam Darnold off 5 times. Dude.
Well, I read a stat, and the
I
stat
bet you
was
did.
if the Patriots offense never stepped on the field to the whole season, the Patriots would still be 3-3-1.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
That's the story right there.
But
Wins
it's easy
championships.
to pick it off when Sam Darnold looks like he was literally playing catch with you. Like there were a few of them, like that one in the end zone. Oh god, I don't remember exactly. I think it might have been Harmon. He was like he landed on the one. They put him at the one. It was like in the second half. Yeah, I didn't even. Was there even a receiver on the screen? Oh my god, and then some of the other ones like the Gilmore one, he just literally floated it up like some absolute duck, and Gilmore was just like, snag, thanks, I'll take that. Like, oh god,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, Booger McFarland was like, get this man out of the game. Like, he kept throwing like off his back foot. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he's not even putting like any of his arm strength into it. He's literally just slinging it up in the air like you're playing fucking what's that game?
What,
500? Yeah, like
dude, that was rough.
I
I don't
love
know. I'm just not into that schedule, and I think they got hard games going on. Like, let me know if they beat the Ravens, Eagles, Cowboys, Texans. Then, all right, you got me.
You
I wouldn't
don't
even-
think that the Patriots are capable of going undefeated this season?
Well, that's actually, Austin, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't remember, but you reminded me. Brady and the Patriots have done everything, right?
Everything.
They've won a million AFC championships. They've won, a shit ton of Super Bowls. Brady's got an MVP. What's the one single thing that Brady should have like a gripe with? Like one single thing that's left.
He needs to go
having
undefeated
the
and win the
perfect
Super
season.
Bowl.
The perfect if they can do that this year, then
There's no reason to keep playing.
oh god, if he Austin, you with the good points, Austin. If he fucking like, you know what? I'm coming back to play for my age 43. I'll fucking rip my dick off. I don't know.
that took a turn.
Whoa.
What is Tom probably wants to go keel over and die. There's gonna be a hit. He's gonna be like 55 and like, I don't know, some up and coming rusher out of fucking Ohio State is gonna come blast his ribs open, and Tom Brady's gonna fucking die on the field. And it's like, oh my god. For someone who's so into his family, he sure doesn't seem to give a shit about keeping playing. Like Brett Favre doesn't even know who his fucking kids are anymore. And oh my god, Tom, go home.
All right, over there, Noah.
He's lucky that torn ACL, knock on wood, is the only injury that's really like, put him aside. I can't even remember when was the last time he missed a game, like a whole game because of injury.
Because of injury, no clue. He's been suspended a couple seasons
Yeah, well,
ago,
fuck that one. I mean, him and his
Inflated
balls. All right? All right, listen, I don't know. Like, yeah, he's lucky that he's been so well. The TB12 method.
That's what I was gonna bring up.
I was gonna say the freaking what is he? I don't even know what he says. Like fucking your muscles and your mind. He can like control concussions. Doctor Strange. These fucking like. Dude, I'm just waiting for like Well, actually, Vontaze Burfict's probably gonna get tossed in the NFL, but I'm just waiting for them to go play the Oakland Raiders and Vontaze Burfict to just knock his head off, like literally rolling down the field. Tom Brady's head, knock his head off.
Oh man,
Like
that's horrible.
Oh wow! I did not know you felt so strongly about Tom Brady in the end of his career.
he should have retired. Like in my head, he should have retired after the Falcons won. How much better are you gonna get
you're
than
right.
that? Like name that is in my opinion. Because if it's in black and white, it don't count in my opinion. I'm too young for that shit. That's the best Super Bowl ever. My God, what Super Bowl You know how do you not love that Super Bowl? I'm just getting excited thinking about it. But like, yeah, like what are you gonna do? Oh, you know what? I know why. He just saw into the future and said, "Oh man, I need to go have a fucking dick grabbing party with Jared Goff and score like one touchdown." It's just, yeah, he went from like the coolest Super Bowl to like the most whack Super Bowl of all time.
Yeah, but
They
the fact is he stayed in and won another Super Bowl.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I feel like Jimmy G could be doing this right now if he was over here. I see no pushback from that, but you know,
I'm not nearly as high on Jimmy G as everyone
no,
else is.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not high.
neither.
Hold on, I'm not high on Jimmy G. I the 49ers. I don't. It's not nothing to do with Jimmy G. It's that defense. But I feel like any quarterback in the Bill Belichick, system for that long, because if he were all right, say he retired after the Falcons Super Bowl. What is that? Jimmy G's like 4th year in the league, 5th year in the league.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. 4 years under Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I don't know. I feel like he could be. I feel like we'd have the same record now. I don't know. I just do.
It's hard to say.
I mean,
yeah,
given
because
how well the defense has played too.
well, Tom Brady has like he gets whatever the fuck he wants, and Jimmy Garoppolo isn't. I don't see him as the type of guy to like freaking be crying to the owner and like Bill and be like, "Hey, I need more weapons." I mean, like the Patriots finally drafted a receiver in the first round. The year before that, they drafted Sony Michel. The year before that, they drafted Isaiah Wynn. Like they're getting all these offensive guys to help Brady, and Brady is like, who knows how much longer he's gonna play? Like he could hang it up after this season.
Well, there's that, and a good point. No one, and by no one I mean Brett and Kevin, because we talk a lot about sports. No one's buying into this. His contract is voided after this year. He's going to be a free agent after this season. You don't think for once in his life he wants to get paid? Like I could totally. Joe Montana did it. Why can't Tom Brady go do it? Play somewhere else. You don't think Tom Brady wants to? You don't think Tom Brady wants to? Because someone, no matter how old he is, will pay Tom Brady a fuck
I
ton of
don't.
money
agree with you.
just because his name's Tom
I don't
Brady.
know. I don't know.
I don't. Am I saying he's leaving? No. Am I saying there's Adam Schefter sure thinks there's a chance? I don't know if you've heard what Adam Schefter's been saying. He is adamantly leaning towards Tom Brady's gone. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like he wants to get paid. I feel like the Patriots are going to be the ones who pay him next year. But I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady. I feel like he'd leave to go play somewhere else for more money.
If I was Tom Brady, I would kind of be in the same mindset because it's like, dude, I'm about to retire as one of, if not the greatest quarterback of all
not
time.
one of. Don't say one.
You know what I mean?
Of. He's the greatest quarterback.
He
of all time.
deserves the money.
Yeah. And you don't think some bum ass team like the Chicago Bears or something?
But do you really think like he's got his TB12 brand. His wife makes more money than he does. Like, do you think he really cares at this point in his life?
I think he does. I truly do.
I don't.
Think
I mean,
he's so
call me
Go ahead,
naive, but like the biggest thing with him is he's not gonna go to another team and learn a completely different offense. Like it would have to be his style of playing.
And you don't think some team would if they signed Tom Brady would get a Tom Brady offense? I don't think they'd make Tom Brady learn the offense. I think they'd make everyone else learn Tom Brady.
See, that just seems like a lot to sacrifice for like 1, maybe 2 seasons. Like you'd have to fire your head coach, fire your offensive coordinator, get rid of your current quarterback. And Brady's not going to go to a bum team. If he goes to another team, it's going to be to compete for a Super Bowl. And how many good teams realistically are there in the league? Like 6, maybe 7. Like you're not going to get rid of Breeze and Sean Payton. You're not going to get rid of Goff and McVay. Like,
by the way, you guys are talking, you might get rid of Goff and McVay.
Yeah, I was gonna counter with that just then.
Jared Goff just signed like a 5-year extension.
don't think that, instead of paying Dak, the Cowboys would just be like, hey, Tom, come play. Colin Cowherd, that's like his huge take. He's been saying it like every year for the past 3 years that Tom Brady's going to end his career at the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, how much stock are we putting in a Colin Cowherd take? But, I don't know.
But what
I
if he
just
was
think
right? That'd
I
be
think it's
interesting.
I think it's more possible than everyone else is, leading on.
I don't know. We'll have to find out. There's
There's a lot of ifs.
and Mr. Austin over here has to go to work, so we should do a quick speedy segue to our
Oh,
fantasy
Real quick.
advice, our professional fantasy advice. And so Austin, speaking of quarterbacks like Tom Brady, we could talk about Tom Brady forever, and maybe we can
Yes, we
dedicate
could.
a major portion of a show to talking about what's going to happen to him. But we got to get on with other quarterbacks in the league.
Yes, we do.
Let's hear your advice for quarterbacks this week, Austin.
Okay, so the first quarterback that I would say to start this week is actually on my fantasy team in the starting spot, and that man's name is Matthew Stafford of the Detroit Lions, playing the Giants this week. I don't really have to talk much about it. Kerryon Johnson's hurt, so they're going to be relying on the pass way more than they normally do. And the Giants are allowing 257 passing yards per game to quarterbacks. So this is a game I'm going to be taking Matthew Stafford in all day on. He's going to do wonders coming off of a season high 4 touchdowns, 364 passing yards. Give me all of Matt Stafford, please.
Ooh.
And my second start is actually 2 guys, just same team, because they don't know who they're starting at, either Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Brees. Regardless of Drew Brees' little thumb injury, if he comes back at home against the Cardinals, those are 2 guys. Whoever starts, you're going to want them to be playing on your team because the Cardinals fucking suck.
Some nice scientific, empirical evidence you've provided.
Thank you.
You got the statistics on lock, and I appreciate that about you, Austin.
You're well. I mean, the Cardinals are allowing the 4th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. So there's your statistic.
There it is.
And moving on to the sits, we've actually talked about both these guys today, and I know we are kind of giving the Colts some praise with Brett's power rankings over there, but I'm sitting Jacoby Brissett this week when he is playing the Broncos because the Broncos have. I know the team themselves have struggled, but their passing defense has not struggled whatsoever. They're only allowing 10.5 fantasy points per game in standard leagues, and that kind of equates to 195 passing yards a game and only 1 touchdown allowed per game this season.
Wow.
Passing. So I'm not too high on Brissett this week, even though he's coming off of his career high 4 touchdown outing last week against the Texans. And then my second sit is Mr. Phillip Rivers against the Chicago Bears. They're not home. I'm sorry. They're playing at Chicago, and the Bears are allowing a 236.5 yards passing a game. And just like the Broncos, they are only giving up 1 passing touchdown a game. So I'm not really buying high on Phillip Rivers this week.
Thank you, Austin.
Very
That was
well.
great. Who's
Thank
your running backs?
Well, do you have any drops or sits? I mean,
He just did a sit.
I did my sits and starts.
oh, my apologies.
Where have you been?
Yeah, listen.
Wow.
Well, I have running backs.
Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
Tell us about them.
Are you gonna say what they are?
Yeah, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones.
Is he sitting
Aaron
or starting?
Jones.
Oh, starting. Okay.
At Kansas City, one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL. He has been splitting time with Jamal Williams recently, but that's mostly in like passing down situations. They'll put in Jamal Williams. Aaron Jones isn't the best like pass catcher, but the past couple of weeks he's really been like just running rampant on these defenses, and Kansas City is definitely one that I would expect a lot of volume from, especially if Mahomes isn't playing and the Packers kind of get up early. I would expect them to kind of like run the ball a lot, chew clock. So I think Aaron Jones is a very good play this week. And then my other start is Chase Edmonds.
Ooh, hot take.
Yeah. Well, so David Johnson was active last week, but he only played like one snap, I think. And they said that going into this week as well, he will be active, but he'll only be playing in an emergency situation. So, like,
What
if
is his injury? Why is he not playing?
I believe he's dealing with like a knee thing.
Okay.
Um,
Is it the same? Is
so
it the
yeah,
same leg that held him out like 2 seasons ago? You
I'm
know
not
that?
sure if it's the same leg, but he has had like a good amount of like knee like injuries in the past, and I think it's mostly out of precaution. Like if they really needed him, I'm sure he could go out there and play. But the way Edmonds has been playing, like there's no reason to force anything onto David Johnson. Uh, and Edmonds like I don't know if you guys caught any of that Cardinals game last week, but he was just like running through holes, and he's not a very like big guy. Like he's pretty small in stature. And they're playing the Saints, who do usually have a pretty good run defense, but I expect this game to be closer than like many would expect. Uh, I mean, obviously, a lot relies on whether or not Drew Brees plays or not. But if I had to guess, I think they'll sit him out only because the Saints have a bye next week. So that would presumably be 2 weeks he has off. And then he should be fully healthy by the time the Saints play in week 10. So, yeah, start Chase Edmonds. And then my sits this week are Philip Lindsay against the Indianapolis Colts. I did touch on the Colts defense earlier, and I just really like what I've seen from them. The additions that they've made on that side of the ball. And Philip Lindsay really did not do much of anything last week. It was more of like the Royce Freeman show. So the fact that they're splitting carries pretty much like 50-50, I would find it hard to start Philip Lindsay, maybe in a flex spot if you didn't have anyone else, but I just don't have too much confidence in him. And then my other sit is Melvin Gordon against Chicago. Yeah, Melvin Gordon, he hasn't been like picking up the workload that many expected when he returned. Austin
Nor has he
Eckler's
been able to do shit with any of his touches.
Yeah, no, Austin Eckler is getting a majority of the snaps, and like on the road against Chicago with that defense, if he's not going to be a factor in the passing game, he's definitely not doing anything in the run game. So yeah, for anyone that like kind of stashed Melvin Gordon for when he returned, it doesn't seem like he's going to be very much of a fantasy stud going forward, as far as I could tell.
I think the Chargers are just really mad at him and realize that Eckler can do pretty much fill the same role.
They're like, "Oh, you're back? Oh, there you go, Austin." Like,
Well,
Yeah.
they're utilizing Eckler almost like solely as a wide receiver now. Like he's out there just running out wide routes.
some James White level stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's only getting like a handful of carries a game, and he's another guy. Again, that might be more so their offensive line than the actual running backs themselves.
And speaking of wide receivers, that's who I got.
looking like a District of Columbia tour with the segues, baby.
So I'm gonna start with my sits because we're gonna be positive around here. My first sit, I've talked about him before. For like the 60-something% of ESPN leagues that still have this guy, do not start Robbie Anderson versus the Jaguars. He had that one really good game, I think 2 weeks ago. I don't remember who we played. Had like an 80-yard touchdown. What was that?
He had the Dallas Cowboys. He had like that
Yeah.
90-yard touchdown, and that was like it.
And he had an absolute stinker versus the Pats last week. I think it was like one catch for 8 yards. Darnold, Oh God, some people were like, he's going to save the team. I said weeks ago he was not going to save the team, and that's not happening against the Jaguars. I don't even have any stats to provide. Like, just look at Robbie Anderson's game log, and that's all you need to know. My second sit is Nelson Aguilar versus the Bills. I think it's going to be a good game. Like I said, it's a game to watch. I think either team could win it. But I have Nelson Aguilar as a strong sit. Did any of you see him refuse to catch a pass or hustle for a pass
Oh my god!
last week against the
Yes,
Cowboys?
dude, that dude who's saving babies is probably having a heart attack.
I know
right now.
he wants that helmet like right away. He wants to get out there.
Dude.
Bills are fourth in the league in passing yards per game allowed. Fourth greatest, I should say, or fourth least, however you want to interpret that. Bills are pretty good on the pass defense. Nelson Aguilar, he's just been disappointing, and I wouldn't even doubt he's going to get a few targets, very few targets this upcoming week for that stunt he pulled against the Cowboys last week. And so those are my two sits. And now we're going to move on to my starts. My first start, I'm a little hesitant to say this, but I'm gonna throw out the name Juju Smith-Schuster on Monday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins. Like I've said before, with other starts for other positions, he's just playing the Dolphins. He's also at home. He's coming off a bye. You know, who knows? I think this might be the game that he shows up again, finds his connection with Mason Rudolph, and we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna put my faith in him. I have him in my fantasy lineup, and so I'm gonna commit and say start Juju this week. And my other start is Mr. John Brown on the other side of that Eagles-Bills game. John Brown is coming off a 583 and 1 stat line against Miami, but he's been good against every other team this season. He's been kind of a sleeper pick. He's still owned in, I think, 70-something% of ESPN leagues. Eagles are 27th worst pass defense in the league with 270 yards per game allowed, and they're also allowing 2.0 pass touchdowns per game. And they're also allowing the most fantasy points to wide receivers in standard leagues. So I think John Brown is a good start this week. I think it's going to be a good game. I've said that I think 3 times now. And I think John Brown is going to be one of the reasons why the Bills will eke out that win.
And don't forget the Bills-Eagles. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I don't know if I said it yet, but I think that's my sneaky game of the week is going to be the Buffalo Bills versus the Philadelphia Eagles, because I think it's going to be a good game.
Wait, is it going to be a good game?
I got to think about that one. Spect, why don't you move on to your segment, and then I'll have an answer prepped for you by then.
Well, your resident tight end pro is here. I do just want to mention Delaney Walker continued to break my streak of tight ends getting 1 point by getting 0 points last week. Thank you very much, Delaney. I should have listened to Austin, which I never thought I'd say that in my life.
Told you, man.
Okay,
I don't want Ryan Tannehill throwing to him.
I know Austin's got to get to work, so I'll be quick. Start Gerald Everett against the Cincinnati Bengals. Why? Because he's playing the Bengals. Start Hunter Henry versus the Chicago Bears. I know it's a Chicago Bears defense. Since returning, he's a tick below 200 yards, and he's scoring a lot. 2 scores for 45.7 fantasy points since his return. I'll go a little more into Gerald Everett if I have to, but he's become a target to look at for Jared Goff. I know Jared Goff sucks big slong, but he scored 15 points or more in his 3 of his last 4. Now, my sits. Greg Olsen at the San Francisco 49ers. I think if anyone is going to do anything against the San Francisco 49ers team, it is going to be Christian McCaffrey. I just don't think Kyle Allen and Greg Olsen are on the same page all the time. I don't know. I think he should just be benched just because. And any tight end against the Buffalo Bills this week, Dallas Goedert or Zach Ertz.
Wow.
Zach Ertz has just fallen off some truck and rolled down the road and off a cliff. I would know he's on one of my other fantasy teams. Goddard got a touch. Go ahead, Austin. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's funny because I have him in my other league as well, but he's still like the fantasy number 6 at tight end position.
That just goes to show how bad tight ends are nowadays.
Yeah, really.
I don't know. I just think the Buffalo Bills are going to truly give. What the fuck is his name? I almost called him Carlos. I don't know why. Wentz. They're gonna give Wentz. What is his first name, dude? Why am I being a retard?
Carson.
Carson. Thank God. At least it was close to Carlos.
Carlos Wentz.
Carlos Wentz.
Alrighty. The start. I got to start for you on defense. I have the absolute pleasure of talking about the defense. God, I don't even know. There's so many. I don't know. Fuck it. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? They're playing the Miami Dolphins. I don't know.
There you go.
I love the prep work you've done for this.
I totally forgot I had to do defenses until 5 minutes.
I got pieces of paper and a hat.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, here we go. The Los Angeles Rams against the Bengals. Why? They're playing the Bengals.
Good reasoning.
Some sound strategy right there.
My sits.
Bulletproof.
I got a real one. I got a real one, but it's a sit. My sit is I think that the little trio in the backfield for the San Francisco 49ers. I can't imagine. I will piss myself if the Panthers win this game. I just think the 49ers are going to tear them up. I will. I don't know, dude. I'm going to
someone who doesn't like the Niners.
Yeah, but
Kind
it's
of high
like,
on them right now.
stop it. Fuck off, Boston. It's all right. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Kyle Allen, is he enough to carry against his 49ers team? We'll see. But speaking of defense, Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, the other dude in the backfield,
Rasheem Mostert.
That's
Rasheem.
Raheem. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't it Raheem?
Some dude.
It
I
is
don't know.
Raheem.
There's a
He's
bunch
the
of
third string. He's not that important.
Emmanuel Sanders probably gonna play. Marquise Goodwin, George Kittle. If Jimmy Garoppolo can, not slip around the field like he did last week against
Supposed to raid.
that tough Redskins team. If he can have a better performance than that, I don't know. I just can't picture them winning. And then another one. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to torch. You heard it here first. Torch. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
Other than that, I can't really. I know they had like 1 million sacks last week. What did they have? Like 9. They aren't going to do that against the Green Bay Packers. I discount that defensive performance against Joe Daddy Flacco. So yeah, I don't know.
Daddy.
That's his name. Don't wear it out. And then just for shits, start Will Lutz, the kicker, against the
What? You're going off script.
I gotta get to work.
That was I was not expecting such a hot take. Will Lutz, unbelievable.
Yeah,
Start Will Lutz on defense
Your flex position.
against the Cardinals. He could probably take the Cardinals by himself.
Can you put kickers in the flex position?
No.
I don't know. Can you? You should be
No.
able to. They get points. Be able to put any position in the. Flex
Speaking of
spot.
points, let's talk about our points that we have for our pick'ems. We're going into week 4. After 3 weeks, here are our standings for our pick'ems. We got Austin and Brett bringing up the rear with a nice 2-7 record for pick'ems, and then yours truly 3-6, and then we got Mr. Specs nearly 500 with a 4-5 record for pick'ems.
I should have had that Lions game. I'm still pissed about it. But anyway,
we have 3 new games to shake up the standings a little bit, hopefully. So we're gonna just go one by one. Just give me the team. We don't need a reason. Let's just hear it. We got Panthers 49ers. Who you got?
49ers.
49ers for Specs.
Niners. Me.
Okay.
Panthers.
I got
Oh, get the
Panthers.
fuck out of here, yellow posers.
We got Panthers. Okay, we got Dolphins. Dolphins at Steelers. Who's flipping a coin?
Pass.
Going with Steelers.
It's not even gonna be close. It's gonna be the Steelers.
James Conner's gonna fuck the Dolphins up. That's all they need.
Brett, who you got?
He's gonna do
Yeah.
what to a dolphin? In front of all those people?
I don't know, but it's gonna be a good game.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
in an effort to try and pass y'all, I am going to pick the Miami Dolphins.
Oh gosh,
taking
you're
the
really
game
reaching now.
against the Steelers.
Noah unsheathes his massive dog to flex on us.
Preston Williams is going to have the game of his career against the Miami Dolphins. Or against
It would be
the
like
Pittsburgh
Steve
Steelers.
receiving it.
Against his own team. He might as well be playing his own team. And we got The Cleveland Browns at New England Patriots. Who do we got,
Sure.
boys?
Patriots.
Spect.
Did
I
Austin
even have
pick?
to ask him. Patriots.
Fellas, I've said this. I told in our good friend Kevin's basement. I think I said this to Brett at the beginning of the year. Every team is supposed to win one game that they're not supposed to win, and it is delete that. I see you typing. I see you typing. And it ain't gonna be this week. It's gonna be the Patriots.
What a way to say it.
At the beginning of the year, when I didn't know what the defense was,
I typed in Browtriots for you because I can't
Perfect.
tell where you're going with it.
Fun fact: I'll be at that game. Anyways, start Will Lutz next week.
All
All right, that's where we sign off for week 4, episode 4 of the 4 Quarters of a Whole Idiot podcast. Join us next week for our spicy mid-season predictions episode. Until then, this is Austin, Spect, and Brett signing off.
Don't
Farewell.
forget that the Eagles-Bills is going to be a good game.
It's going to be a really good game. I almost forgot to answer that question. I'll have an answer next week. Goodbye.